Continuing the discussion of romantic relationships in adulthood. All right, this is going to be kind of a hodgepodge video. Different individual topics are going to be covered briefly. So first of all, have you heard of the empty nest? Have you heard of the empty nest syndrome? You might be familiar with this term, that like when you've been together for a long time and you have children, they do this thing where they grow up. They grow up, they become independent, and they can leave. They can leave the nest. My children are young enough that I have difficulty imagining that happening. But I hear that it can happen someday, that you can have them move away, go off to college or otherwise move away, and you've got an empty nest again. The empty nest is the empty home where the children have moved away. And so, this is going to be relevant to couples that have been together for, they've stayed together, so their children grew up and they've moved away. And there is this idea, this sort of cultural idea that they expect that parents will feel kind of lost when their kids move away. Like, well, what do I do now? I've been mom or dad. That's been my role for so long. What am I supposed to do now that they're not here anymore? And, so during this time when parents are alone again, after their children have moved out and launched their own lives, what really happens? All right, we actually see that this is not the case where the empty nest leads to restlessness or hopelessness or confusion or not knowing what to do with yourself. We actually see that for most couples, it's a positive development to have alone time again, to have time for each other again and not just always be mom, dad, or mom and mom, dad and dad. Let's not erase the same-sex couples, especially since we're getting ready to discuss them. That would be quite insulting. And so typically couples satisfaction increases when the kids get the heck out of the home. All right, and you think about it. You now have alone time. It also leads to various aspects of individual satisfaction that could increase, overlap with couple satisfaction. You can do things like spend more time on your hobbies instead of, always doing stuff for the kids. Sometimes kids get frustrated. They move back home or they come back home to visit and they're like, what? You turned my bedroom into a sewing room. You turned it into a man cave. What are you doing? And it's like, well, you don't live here anymore. And we've got hobbies. We've got hobbies and interests that have nothing to do with being parents. And now we get to spend time on those again. And very importantly, the parents get to date again. They have more time for dating activities that often go by the wayside when you're raising children. And a lot of people don't like to think about their parents still having sex lives. You can engage in sexual activity without worrying about the kids interrupting or hearing. You can just go wild. And for some couples, that is a very positive development. So the empty nest, don't think negative situation, think increase in couple satisfaction. Now, another thing that we're going to talk about, actually, I think it works to leave empty nest as its own video. All right, so empty nest as its own video. Next video, we're going to talk about same-sex relationships.